Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Damsel. Now this came on Netflix not too long ago, and I saw the girl who played 11 on Stranger Things, and I was like, we gotta check this out because I love Stranger Things. So I definitely thought this was going to be interesting. So I'm not going to talk too much, let's just get into this. So the movie starts, and the first thing you see is this king and his men riding on horseback, getting ready to go to this dragon's lair in a cave. They get there, it's all dark and creepy and mysterious or whatever, and obviously, humans going against a dragon, I'm thinking dragons win every time. So all the men, they out of there very quickly. And the only person left is the king, and he's on his knees, and it looks like he's gonna beg for his life, as he should. But then the scene cuts, and that's when we get our first glimpse of the main character, Elodie, and her sister, Floria. They're out chopping wood, apparently, and the reason they're doing this is because on their land, it is wintertime, I assume, it's freezing, and the land is barren because you can tell it looks like all the trees are chopped down, nothing's growing, it looks lifeless and dry, and it looks like they going through it. So while they're out chopping wood, thinking about stuff to sell so they can make ends meet, they see this carriage of guests coming into town. They're just like, okay, who are these people? So they make their way back, and as you look around, they obviously have some type of power. They're basically living in a small castle, but as you can see, their community, well, as I saw, their community is, they're, like I said, they're going through it. It's wintertime, they're freezing, and there's no food. There's not enough to take care of everybody. So they're trying to make ends meet, and some people are even getting up out of there, which I do not blame them, because like I said, they can't make ends meet. They got to go do something. So Floria, she goes up, she sees this strange lady, Elodie, she goes up, she sees this strange lady talking to her father and stepmother. So she's like, who's this? What's going on? And apparently the Lord, her father, he accepted a proposal on her behalf for Elodie to marry a prince. Now, Elodie, she's hesitant. She's like, I don't know this man. Why would I marry him? Dad's like, he's rich beyond belief. They got carriages and carriages of gold. Like, they're super wealthy. And she's like, that's not enough to marry somebody, which I get. But Dad's like, your people need you. We're starving. We're freezing. We got to make something shake. And she's like, okay, I guess, So all of them, they get on a ship. I don't know if it's the same day, but it seems like it's the same day, and they're on their way. Elodie, like I said, she's not feeling this whole thing because she don't want to marry a man that she don't know or don't love, but at the same time, she has this sense of duty, as the lady, and she's just feeling a lot of emotions on this trip. But when they get there, there's like this little ominous moment when the area that they're in is covered in like dark smoke and clouds, and the place they're in it's called Aria, I think. If I'm saying it wrong, my bad, but I think the place is called Aria. And they see these like two tall dragon statues. It's like one on each side of the boat as they're coming in to Aria. And like I said, it's covered in smoke. The dragon statues have like this little flame in their mouth kind of guiding the way. It's all really creepy and ominous. But once they get past the smoke, the place is beautiful. Aria is stunning and gorgeous, and the land looks fruitful, and everybody looks happy. There's crops, there's sunshine, there's trees. Like, it's completely different from where they stay at, and everybody's basically in awe of everything. And not to mention, the castle is huge. That place is 50 times bigger than the place that they had, and you can tell the difference in wealth and status, like the difference between Lord and Lady and King and Queen. Like, you can see the difference. So once they get there, everybody's very excited, especially Flora. She's the youngest sister, so she's just in awe of all the gold and how beautiful everything is. Elodie, obviously, she's enjoying it because everything's beautiful, but she still got that little hesitation because she hasn't met her prince yet, so she's a little nervous. And the father's like, let's just give Elodie some space, to calm down because she's gonna meet her prince tomorrow. So Elodie, she's in her room, she's eating the fruit that's on the table. She's enjoying this beautiful, gorgeous room that they put her in. And her family, they're out getting settled into their own rooms. But, obviously she got a lot on her mind. But I feel like she feels a little bit better now that she's seen the place and it's not like some mystery, creepy place in her head. But later on that night, she's looking out on the balcony. The land is gorgeous. Oh wait, it's not the nighttime. It's like a little bit later from when she first gets into the room. She's looking out, like I said, the landscape, the scenery, everything is absolutely gorgeous. And Arya, I will give them that. The land is stunning. I would want to live there too. And she's looking out, she's in like this tower part of the castle, and she's looking out and she sees this other tower part. And she's this other girl looking out from her balcony, and they exchange pleasantries by a smile, because obviously they're far away, so they can't talk. But, it was a nice little moment. We don't know who this girl is, but she will come up later. So that's the only reason I mentioned her in this small and significant moment. So the next day, Elodie she's about to meet her prince. So her stepmother, her sister Floria, and her father, they meet up with the king, the queen, and the prince. And the queen's very nice. She's very open, she's very sweet, and she's like, wow, your father, he downplayed your beauty, like you're so beautiful, and your sister's so beautiful. And she's very, very nice. The king, he's basically a background character. It's obviously the queen is running the show, because that man barely talked through their whole interaction. He talked like once, and even throughout the whole movie, I don't really hear him talk much. So like I said, the king's basically a background character. And the prince, he's sitting there noticeably uncomfortable. It seems like he's also not okay with this whole marriage thing. So I guess they're going to have to bond over that, because obviously neither one of them wants this. Like, I guess it's like out of duty and obligation. So what ends up happening is the queen's like, me and the Lord, her father, we'll go talk about, marriage and their marriage, and like not the bounty, the price that they're going to pay, the money that they're going to give them, the whole reason this whole thing's happening. And the prince and Elodie will go and get to know each other. So Elodie and the prince, like I said, they're getting to know each other. They're walking through the gardens and they're talking. It's a cute little interaction. And, Elodie, she doesn't hold her tongue. She lets it be known that she's doing this because of guilt. Like, she's very pleasant about it. She's different from what the prince expects, like her parents sent a letter on her behalf to the prince, and he thought that she was going to be this flowery girl or whatever, but then he sees she's really, straightforward, and, she's not rude or anything, not at all. But at the same time, like I said, she makes it apparent that her happiness is a small price to pay. Sorry, words. Her happiness is a small price to pay for the safety and well-being of, her kingdom. I don't think that's what she said, because she's not a princess technically, but her land, her people, So, the prince is digging her a little bit. You can tell the vibes are there. They're vibing, and they end up going horseback riding. And this impresses the prince. She's riding very well. Like I said, they're bonding. It's really cute, and they're having a whole little moment, and they're looking over the land. And like I said, Arya is beautiful. The land is stunning. The visuals are amazing. If you're gonna watch it. If you're a visual person, you will definitely like this movie, because, like I said, everything is very visually pleasing. So, Elodie brings up that she saw some people with torches in the mountain last night. And he says that that was for like a part one of a ceremony, that his people, they do a special ceremony every generation to honor the ancestors. And last night was part one. And it's, like I said, it's an every generational thing. It's very important to the people, and it's just one of those things. So back at the castle, the king and the queen and her father, they were talking, like I said, about the wedding. And once they left the room, the stepmother walks up to the father like, so is it going well? Is the wedding going? Is it happening? He's like, yes. But something is noticeably wrong with her father. He looks down. Like, even though they settled on a fair price, he said it's more than any gold that he could ever imagine. Like, they're gonna be set after this. And the stepmother's like, okay, but what's wrong? And he's like, nothing. I don't want to talk about it. So obviously something is wrong, but we're not getting the full story, obviously. So they go back to Elodie and the prince. Like I said, they're bonding, they're horseback riding, blase blase. It's a cute little moment, Then they go back to the castle where the stepmother, she tries to speak to the queen, mother to mother, try to get acquainted because they're about to be family or whatever. Apparently, the queen wasn't feeling it. She's like, can I help you? Is there something I can do for you? She's very rude, not nice like she was earlier. So the stepmother, she's like, we're about to be family. I just thought we should get better acquainted, She's very nice, very proper, very respectful. The queen is just like, I see you've climbed so high. Your father was a rope maker. And the stepmother's like, the best in the land, yes. She said, and the queen was like, well, one must not forget their station. Like, she's better than her or something just because she's a queen, which I get it, royalty and all that. But she's very rude, And the stepmother is like, alarm bells, red flags. Something's going on. Because she was so nice earlier, so kind, so sweet. And now the deal is done, her true colors are coming out. So the stepmother's like, let me go talk to Elodie. So Elodie, she's back from her little trip with the prince. She's cool. She's kicking it. She's chatting up with her sister, Floria. And she comes in like, Elodie, I care about you and I only want what's best for you, but I don't think this is a good idea. I think we need to call this wedding off. And Elodie, she's rightfully so confused, but Floria, she doing a little too much. She's being real disrespectful to the stepmother. The stepmother not studying Floria right now. She's like, Elodie, I know they're royalty, but that does not mean that they're good people. Something is wrong. Something's off. I don't know what it is, but I really think this is a bad idea. I don't think you should do it. And Elodie, she's listening, but she's also very confused, like, what's going on? But then the father walks in, and he's like, what's going on? And Elodie, she's like, no, nothing, just girl talk, which I really like this part because most of the time in movies, the main character does something stupid, like they say too much or they like go against the person that's trying to help them to like cause some type of confrontation. But she didn't do that, she was cool with her stepmother. And she was like, it's just girl talk. And the king was like, well, Elodie has a big day tomorrow. We should let her get her rest. And the stepmother is like, don't forget, think about what I said. There's still time to change your mind. No, she said there's still time. And the father, he's like, time for what? And, he's being very weird, very sketchy, like very angry and cagey for some reason that they haven't, said out loud yet. And the stepmother's just like, I hope you know what you're doing, to the father. And like I said, the whole night, the whole scene was very weird. But the next day, apparently Elodie, she decides to go to the wedding and go through with it, duty, responsibility, people, all that. So the wedding goes by very fast. She's getting dressed. The whole scene, she's getting dressed in like 100 and something layers of clothing for a wedding dress. It's very beautiful and extravagant and all that. And like I said, the wedding itself, it goes by very, very fast. Like, it's really cute exchange of pleasantries, basically. So after the wedding, she quickly says goodbye to her family. Like, as soon as the wedding is done, it's over, one and done. So her and the prince, they're married now, and they are riding in this beautiful golden carriage off somewhere. And Elodie's just like, where are we going, And he's like, we're gonna go, commemorate the occasion, We're gonna continue with the ceremony and honor my ancestors. So yeah, they drive off. It's very beautiful, very scenic. And they get there. There's this pathway up the mountains, and it's covered in rose petals, which was very cute. Elodie, she's smiling, she's having a good time. Okay, I'm all for tradition. I'm all for, stuff like that. Let's go. She's with it. And they enter like this pathway. It's like an entrance to a cave almost, but not completely covered. And this is when things start to get weird. So, like I said, it's getting weird because as they walk up, they see a bunch of people dressed in their best with creepy golden masks covering all their faces except for the queen. And that would have been alarm bells, red flags in my head. It's time to go. I'm not with it. What's going on? Because the scene is creepy. I don't care if it's like a ritual for the family or, what's the word? Forget the word. Anyway, it was weird. Red flags. Time to go. It was weird. But Elodie, you know, she's feeling uneasy, obviously, but you know, she just keeps going with it. And the queen is like, she's telling a story. Well, first she hands Elodie a coin, a golden coin, and she starts telling a story about when her ancestors first got to the island. There was it was beautiful, and they were trying to set up, but they weren't the only ones on the island. There was a creature there, and it was full of bloodlust, you know, and it destroyed everything, and it came after everyone, and it was a sole inhabitant. It was the only one of its kind left, and it was just angry. So the king back then, he and some soldiers decided to, you know, try to slay it. But like I said, like in the beginning of the movie, that's what we were seeing. In the beginning of the movie, they stood no chance. It's a dragon. They stood no chance, obviously. And only the king was left. So the dragon and the king made a deal. The dragon wanted to torture the king, kind of. He said, we can live in peace. We can share the land, but only if you give me your 3 daughters. And he loved his daughters. The king, obviously, he loved his daughter, but, you know, he loved his people more. So the king sacrificed his 3 daughters. He was like, you know what? Okay, I can make more daughters. It's fine. Gave him dollars. It's fine. And apparently, they celebrate that. They celebrate that every generation to honor the sacrifice. And what happens next is the queen takes a sharp object, and she opens the prince's hand and Elodie's hand, and they touch hands, and she says this combines their blood. Elodie is now of royal blood, and their lines are now forever connected. And you know, it's weird. Another red flag, another huge red flag. It's very weird. But after that, it's over. You know, she said that's the end of the ceremony. It's over. We can all return home now. So the prince is like, this is the part where I'm supposed to carry you across. Because when they got there, it was like a little bridge, you know, not a wooden bridge, but like a stone bridge that they got from one end of the little cave place to the other. So now he has to carry her across the bridge to go back as a part of the ceremony, you know. And he tells her to close her eyes, that he got her, you know. And Elodie, you know, she's still smiling, thinking nothing's wrong, you know. Obviously things feel weird, but you know what, this is her family, you know, her husband. They just got married. He wouldn't hurt her. You know, it's fine. It's fine. All of a sudden, the prince looks at her and says, I'm sorry. Elodie opens her eyes like, huh? And he throws her off the bridge into like this extremely deep pit. And fortunately, Elodie is still alive at the end of this fall, because there's like a bunch of branches and stuff and webs and stuff that was kind of catching her, but then she kept falling. So it's like she kept hitting stuff on the way down that kind of like eased the impact when she got to the bottom. So obviously Elodie's a little discombobulated. Like, she just got married, they did a little ceremony, and all of a sudden apparently she's the sacrifice. You know, like, what the heck just happened? So she's screaming in pain and trying to climb the wall and freaking out because, like, what just happened, right? Like any of us will be doing. So you know, eventually she stops and she starts taking stuff off her dress, because like I said, there's hundreds, like, I'm over exaggerating, but there's like 100 layers of fabric and stuff that they had on the dress. So she threw a necklace off in frustration and gales. And little did she know or realize or paid attention to the story at all, there was a dragon in that cave that she had just woken up. So she looks around. She looks in her environment. And she's like, that's not mine. Because she sees this other necklace. She's like, that's not mine. She finds this other, like, pieces of fabric and other stuff, and she's looking around like, oh, shoot. I'm the sacrifice. Like, what the heck? And like I said, she's looking around the cave a little bit more, and she stumbles into, like, this weird open part. There's, like, a bunch of trees under there as well, and she finds this flaming bird. It's not a flaming bird. It's a regular bird that was on fire. And she's like, what the heck is this? All of a sudden, hundreds of birds on fire come into the room. It's actually quite beautiful. If it wasn't, birds on fire, it was pretty to look at. But obviously, when you think about what was actually happening, it's a little terrifying, weird, And Elodie, like I said, it's a lot going on right now. And she's discombobulated. She's trying to figure out a way to get out of here, but there's a lot going on, a lot to see, a lot's happening right now. And all of a sudden, she hears the dragon's voice. Yes, the dragon can speak. If the thought of a dragon wasn't more terrifying, a dragon that can talk is even more terrifying. And it said, what's your name, little bird? And like this creepy, raspy voice. She's like, Elodie. And the dragon's like, L-O-D. It's funny now that I'm thinking back on it, but like in the moment, it's like, if you were Elodie, this would be very creepy. And Elodie's like, what do you want? And the dragon says, I want what is promised, what I am owed. Every generation of your kind must pay. And she also says that the scent of royalty betrays you. Betrays you. It's in your blood. So Elodie's like, oh, what you talking about? I ain't no royalty. And she looks down at her hand, and the ceremony, they cut her hand, and she took the prince's blood with her blood, and now it's her blood, and that's what the dragon's smelling. So now Elodie, she's stuck. The dragon thinks she's royalty. She's in this cave. There's no way out. Elodie's stuck. And the dragon's just having a good old time. And she's like, here comes my favorite part. Run. Which, I don't know why she had to tell her to run. I would have been running. But Elodie, she book it. She's scared. She's screaming. She's running. And the dragon's having fun. The dragon's entertained by this. She loves the hunt. And eventually, Elodie gets hurt. She gets badly burned running from the dragon. And the dragon's like, oh, did I hurt you? Like, the dragon is mocking her at this point. Like, Elodie's scared, terrified for her life. The dragon's just having a good old time. Like, this is a good Tuesday. But the dragon is actually having more fun because the last girl who went in there, she said that it ended too quickly. And Elodie, she said that she's a clever one. So she ended up, she's more of a challenge. So the dragon's enjoying this. The dragon's having a grand old time. And it turns out the one before her was the girl from the other night in the tower that I mentioned earlier. So yeah, she's number 2 in the 3-part ceremony, apparently. And Elodie, a lot of things coming at her at once. She's trying to survive this crazy dragon. She realizing that her husband and the queen lied to her. Like, there's a lot going on right now. It's crazy, actually. And Elodie, she's trying to survive. I'm looking at my notes. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I don't remember everything. But, like I said, she's in survival mode. So she's just ripping off parts of her dress, trying to see what she can use to get life together right now. So like I said, Elodie is trying to be resourceful. She's tearing apart her dress, trying to find ways to survive. And she's also trying to find a way out of the cave, obviously. So she ends up coming across this glowing tree. Like, I don't know why it was glowing, but it was beautiful. It was almost neon looking, really. And she sees these also glowing little glowworms, you know? And she takes off a part of her dress. There's like this poofy shoulder thing, and she uses it to hold the little glowworms and uses like a light to guide her way through the tunnels. And she also finds this water source. Like the bottom, the groundwater is nasty. Obviously, it's groundwater, but there's like these little crystals of clear water coming. She tries to get some of that because she's been running. She's tired. She's hot, and she's trying to refresh herself. But the dragon's on top, and she burns through it, and she almost gets Elodie. So Elodie's booking it. She's trying to find a place to hide, and she finds this little like cave within a cave, like this little crack in the ground where it's like big enough for her to walk around and everything, like it's like a little apartment or something, but it's like I said, underground cave within a cave. And the dragon's like, now you hide like everyone else. It doesn't matter. The story ends the same. And Elodie, she's trying to catch her breath, but then she starts looking around and she see a wall full of names. And apparently those names were other girls throughout the generations who got married and who ended up down there. Like, this is a cycle. This is a generational thing that she's coming to terms with. Like, she's just the latest in a long line of women who've been betrayed and sacrificed. So Elodie, she's exhausted from a long day. She tries to go to sleep. Well, she does go to sleep. And what ends up happening is she has this weird dream. It's like the ghost of all the women are in the cave with her. They're all doing things that they would have done when they were alone, like crying or scribing their names on the wall, looking around. Like, it's a very weird dream. And like I said, it's all the girls not all the girls before, the ones that made it to that spot, because some of them didn't make it to the spot before. And one of the girls says, it's a lie, and that scares her and wakes her up. And she wakes up and she's feeling very weird, and apparently she feels like the glowworms are eating in her skin, because like I said, she got hurt before, so it feels like they're eating on the spot she got hurt. And she starts taking them off, but then she realized that they were healing her. I don't know how they do it, or they never explained it in the movie, but apparently the glowworms, they can heal wounds. So that was very fortunate for her, because she was badly burned and hurt. And she starts using them as little night lights again. She's looking around the spot and she sees a map of the tunnels. And it's very detailed. You can tell that it looked like multiple people did the map, to try to get around. And she's trying to find out where she is and if anybody escaped, and if they did, how can she escape? So she sees that there's this part where there's a little sun, which kind of signifies freedom, and these crystals and the different tunnels that she has to take in order to get from where she is to, the escape route. So, Elodie, she's being resourceful. She's using her clothes again. She's wrapping up her little glowworms, and she's like, I'm on a mission. I can do this. If somebody escaped, I can escape. Let's go. So she makes her way through the tunnels, right? And she finally gets to the crystals. And the crystals, it's like a climb up, and there's crystals surrounding it, and all the crystals are extremely sharp. So she's wrapping her hands, wrapping her feet and parts of her clothes with to bandage it to help herself. And she finds this crown. It has a V carved into it. The V is for Victoria, which was one of the girls whose names was on the wall, who was, down there, who was sacrificed. So she uses the crown, and she basically uses she uses the crown, a piece of her dress, and she throws it to try to catch some of the crystals to help herself climb up. And it's working. It's going well. Then the dragon shows up, So the dragon, it's watching her, but she's almost at the top. And the dragon's like, fly, little bird, kind of menacing, And, she almost falls because one of the crystals breaks she's holding on to. But she ends up making it to the top. And she's looking, and she sees light. And she's running towards the light. She smells freedom. She hears the air. She's almost outside, and she looks, and she's at the very top of a very high cliff. There's no way to climb down. She is trapped. She is stuck. and her heart sinks. I know her heart sank, you know, because like she thought that was freedom. She saw it. She was almost there. She worked so hard to get there, and apparently nobody ever made it out, and she feels defeated now, obviously. And the dragon, you know, he flies up to the cave because he knew it was there. She knew exactly where she was going, and it was basically a trap. The dragon allowed her to climb the high because she knew that there was actually no way out. And the girl Victoria, who climbed out, who drew the end of the map, her body was up there. You know, she never made it out. And the dragon tries to get her again, and the dragon almost gets her, but she's distracted by a voice. Turns out the voice was Elodie's father. Her father came there to get Elodie, obviously, and he came there with a couple men, and they were looking around the cave, and a lot of the men were scared. One in particular, you know, because it's like, we shouldn't be here. It's been too late. She's probably gone. And the dude, father, he was like, no, I know she's here. Let's look around. Dragon, you know, the dragon knows that they're there, so they go. The dragon's taking everybody out one by one. Elodie, she's trying to make her way back to her father because she knows it's not safe, or maybe there's a way out. There's a lot of things going on right now. She ends up stumbling upon 3 dragon bodies, and that's what the ghost meant by it was a lie, because apparently the queen messed up the story. They warped it. The truth is, the dragon wasn't alone. The dragon had 3 kids, 3 daughters. And the king, they attacked first, assuming that the dragon was dangerous and hostile. So the king and his men got rid of the 3 babies. And that's what set the dragon off. And that's what set all of this into it. So the dragon in the story before, they said it was a trade. The dragon hinted that the thing that was going on was a trade. Like, it was 3 for 3, you know, his $3, or like the generational $3 for her 3 daughters. And something clicked in Elodie. She's like, I gotta tell her the truth. I gotta get to my dad. I gotta stop this. I gotta tell her the truth. So what's going on back with the dragon and Elodie's father? All the men are gone. They're kaput, except for one guy. He manages to get away. And, well, not away. He's still in the cave with them, but he's hiding somewhere. Elodie's also hiding because the dragon's like talking to her father, like, what do you want? And he's like, I'm here for my daughter. And she's like, daughter? Because apparently the dragon couldn't catch her by herself, apparently. She's too clever, apparently. So the dragon tries to use her father to lure Elodie out. So the father and Elodie's father and the dragon, they're fighting. Obviously the dragon is winning. And, you know, he's like, and the dragon's like, call her. And the father's like, obviously he refuses, but he does say, Elodie, don't come out. I'm sorry. I made a deal. I thought I could live with myself, but I couldn't. So apparently the father was acting fishy and cagey the whole time because he knew what he was setting his daughter up for, and he decided to do it anyway. Elodie, hearing this, is heartbroken, obviously, but she's taking it better than I would, truthfully. She's taking it so much better. And the dragon is about to end Elodie's father because he's not doing what she wants. But the man who survived, he ended up making some noise and running deeper within the cave. The dragon, thinking that this is Elodie, goes after him. Elodie goes to her father, and, you know, they're exchanging pleasantries. Like I said, she's handling it way better than I would, because if I would have found out that my father set me up to be eaten by a dragon for gold, I would feel some type of way about that, you know? Like, at least tell me. Like, well, okay. Like I said, I would feel some type of way about it. But she's more concerned with, you know, he apologized, she forgave him, and that these are their final moments. And the father's like, your stepmother and your sister, they're waiting on the boat. Get to them. Use the rope that we used to come in to get out. And, you know, he slowly fades away. While this is happening, the dragon catches up to the dude, realizes that it's not Elodie and that it was all a distraction. The dude's gone. The dude's kaput, obviously. And the dragon's on his way back to Elodie. Elodie, she's making her way up to the rope. You know, she's trying to get out. But the dragon finds her, and she burns up the rope, but Elodie gets out just in time. She's exiting the cave. The dragon's going after her, burning stuff up as they go. But Elodie, she makes it out. She hides somewhere, and the dragon is mad. The dragon is like, I did not get what I was owed, even though all those other people were gone. I want the daughter. I want Elodie. I want a princess. I want a royal blood member. And Elodie escaped. So the dragon is mad. She lit the entire sky on fire. She's letting it be known that I am mad. I did not get what I was owed, and y'all about to pay. So everyone sees the sky, specifically the queen, and she's like, I knew that girl was nothing but trouble. Okay. So what she ends up doing is she goes to their ship and she takes Elodie's sister, Floria, in her place. The stepmother tries to stop her, but all she ends up doing is end up getting hurt. So she's like, no, she's just a child, don't do it. And she tries to stop, but like I said, she got hurt, and they end up taking Floria. What ends up happening is Elodie, the stepmother runs to find Elodie. She finds her, she's like, what happened? Well, Elodie's like, what happened? That the queen took Floria in your place. They're about to send her back down there. And the queen's like, not the queen. The stepmother's just like, what happened to your father? It's like, father's gone. And, they catch everybody. They catch each other up about what happened. So Elodie, she's on a mission now. She takes the horse and she's going after to save her sister. She can't go back to the way she went, obviously, because the rope's gone. There's no way down. She has to go back to the place where she originally went in. While that's happening, the queen, the prince, and Floria, another dude, and Floria go back to the ceremony spot. Floria, she's trying to fight, kick, everything. The queen, she's done. She's like, bruh, just do no pleasantries, whatever. Let's just go. The prince, he's hesitant. He don't like this. She's like, she's just a kid. I don't want to do this. And the queen's like, you're weak. I will do it. So, she opens her own hand, and the girl, they do the little ceremony thing, and the guard pushes her down. And, the prince, he's feeling, he don't like this. He didn't like it from the beginning, but he was less willing to do that to a kid than to like a full-grown adult, So, eventually, Elodie gets there after everybody's gone, and she takes one of the ropes that's on the bridge and she climbs down this time, and she uses everything that she learned while she was down there to like kind of home alone it a little bit, like obviously she didn't set no booby traps or nothing, but she did set up this like kind of makeshift thing with like dirt and the armor of the people that have been there before, and she likes. It is kind of like a trap, but it's just a noise trap to kind of distract the dragon. Now, Floria, she's still alive. The dragon's holding her because the dragon knows that them two are sisters. I think it's like maybe she thinks that they're sisters because, they're supposed to owe daughters, or maybe it's like the blood she smells or whatever. But she knows they're sisters. She's like, Elodie will come for you. So, she's just laying there holding her captive. And Elodie, she's sneaking up on the dragon and Floria, but she's hiding. She's waiting for her contraption to go off, and eventually it does, and the dragon flies off to the contraption. And Elodie, she tries to wake up Floria, like, Floria, we gotta go. Come on, wake up. And Floria, she wakes up, but she's hurt, so she cannot walk, she cannot run, she ain't going nowhere. And apparently that contraption was not long enough to distract the dragon. So the dragon's on his way back. Elodie's like, no, not yet. What are we going to do? Floria's freaking out. But Elodie's like, okay, you go hide. I'm going to try to tell her the truth about what's really been going down. So Floria is hiding. But Elodie, she got a little sword, because the dragon's more of like a take action, ask questions later type person. So Floria, she's holding the sword. She's like, dragon, hey, so let me explain to you what's really been happening. The dragon don't care about none of that. She want all the smoke. She immediately starts going after Elodie. So, they doing their little back and forth, their little tussle. Elodie get a couple good licks in with that sword. And the dragon, she getting a little mad. She getting a little mad that she losing. But what ends up happening is Floria, she gets the best of the dragon. She used like its own fire against it, and the dragon ends up getting really, really hurt. And then Elodie tells her the truth about what's really been happening, because she showed her the scar. She's like, you see this? My sister had it too. We all had it. And she told her what's really been going down, And then the dragon's like, well, might as well end me now. And then Elodie's like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. So what she does, she ends up getting the glowworms, and then she heals the dragon. And she's like, you know what? Let's go get some revenge, I'm a victim, you a victim. Let's go take it out on the people that actually deserve this. So we go back to the castle. This dude is getting married again, because, it has to be 3 princesses, and this would be the last one. Elodie, she makes an entrance. Like I said, earlier the queen put the gold coin in her hand and she had to throw it down. All the girls did it. It was part of the ceremony. So she got a gold coin and she just flicked it on into the wedding, grabbing everyone's attention, and they looking at her like, Elodie, hi, you back? The prince, he tries to explain himself. He tries to be like, I'm so sorry. I felt sick about this. I haven't got a good night's sleep since. And I'm just like, yeah, she hasn't either. She's been fighting for her life. He's like, this is the last one. After I do this, I can go live the life I want. And I'm just like, is that supposed to make her feel better? What was the point of you saying this? And she's like, I don't want to hear none of that. And the queen's like, you ain't got to explain yourself to this commoner. She don't know nothing about our story. She don't know nothing about who we had to go through. She's just a sacrifice. You don't have to explain yourself to people that are less than you. And the prince, he's feeling a little sad about the situation. He feels guilty. I will give him that. He's not a good person because he still did everything that he did and allowed everything to happen. But he did feel bad. The queen gives no cares. The king, like I said, he's a background character. That dude don't talk for no reason. The queen is running the show. And the queen, she don't care. She said, you are less than me. You are nothing. You are a commoner. And I don't care what you have to say. I don't explain myself to you. Neither does he. And she's like, and the queen's like, oh, so now that you escaped, we're supposed to fear you? And Elodie's like, well, I gave y'all a chance to run. No, you're not supposed to fear me. You're supposed to fear her. Cue the dragon. The dragon came in. People are scatting, except for like the main royal people, especially the people that were like at the ceremony originally. They're just sitting there shook. They're scared. They're shaking their boots, but not running like smart people do. I ain't want them to survive, but at the same time, you see a dragon showing up that you've been lying to. Why would you not run? So Elodie, she's walking away. She knows what's going to happen. She's just exiting stage left. The prince, he's accepting defeat. He don't care about life no more. He's just like, he just closed his eyes, just like, you know what? Okay. The queen, she's screaming no as, the dragon's burning everything. The whole thing's going down. It's crazy. So Elodie, she's walking away from the castle. Everything's burning down, going down. And, she's just walking away, doing her little struts. Everything's good. Her sister's safe, stepmother's safe, everybody added her. Her daddy may be gone, but, that was karma for what he did originally. Sorry, not sorry. But, and the dragon, she's flying away too. So the scene kind of cuts, and Floria, the stepmother, and Elodie, they're all talking about how they're going to take what they got, the gold they did get, and they're going to go back home. And the stepmothers, and the Elodie's like, me and stepmother, we're going to run it together, Dad's gone, he can't run it, obviously. And apparently Elodie, her being the next in line was supposed to run it, but she's like, you're the only one I trust to help me run everything. And, it's all kumbaya, great family, everything's all happy, and da-da-da-da. And they ride off into the sunset on their little boats. And apparently, so does the dragon. I guess the dragon got tired of being alone. And she's like, you know what? Let's go find a new home. Like now the dragon's cool. Everything's all good. They made a friend. The family's there. It's a whole little happy ending, I guess. So that was Damsel. I enjoyed it. Like there was a bunch of moments where it was like cheesy and like... You could tell that it's just like a little fun movie. It was a fun movie, I like the whole play on the princess and happily ever after, waiting for a prince to save you thing, She really was like, I don't want to be like Cinderella. She a girl reference. Yeah. But, It was very cute. Like, it took you one way. It was more like a typical romantic, you know, I'm a princess, you're a prince, we're gonna get married, live happily ever after. It was real cute at first. And then there's like a little twist. I like that. I like movies that surprise me, you know, because it definitely looked like it was going one way at first, even though there's like little hits, little bits and pieces where it's like something is amok. It's not exactly, things aren't exactly the way they're supposed to be. But like I said, I enjoyed it. There was like more than one cute little twist, and it was fun, you know? Like, would I recommend watching this? Yeah, I would. I definitely would. And like I said, I watched it because of the girl who played 11 in Stranger Things. I enjoyed her performance, and I like her, you know, with this hair color. She was very cute in this. I liked it. And I liked her character. It was very, yeah, it was just a good, fun movie. I would definitely watch this again, truthfully. I would, actually, I would watch it maybe like next month. With a lot of movies, it takes like a year, maybe so I forget some stuff, maybe to make me want to watch something again. But yeah, I would watch this again soon. Yeah, it was like I said, it was a fun movie. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you liked it, if you like me or my face or whatever, please subscribe, like, leave a comment. Tell me what other movies do you guys want me to do, and I will definitely take that into suggestion. And I will see you guys in the next one.